Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday episode of the Red Light Sports Ramble. This is the Red Light Rant. I am Troy Otradovic. As always, I am joined with the wonderful co-host, Evan Watallison. It is snowing in Pittsburgh today, Evan. What is the weather like in warm Wisconsin?
It is windy. They are calling for up to 2 to 4 inches of snow between today and Sunday night. And then the polar vortex part 2, Dukes, is going to be coming through here as the high temperature for Monday they're calling for, very balmy, -7. And the low Monday night, beach weather, -20. And that is without any wind chill.
That is awesome.
So it's very, very pleasant here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was on Twitter this morning, and I know one of our followers, Mark, was saying it's a burr morning where he's at, and I said, hey, it's a heat wave out here in Pennsylvania. It's pushing 21 degrees. And so for me, that's a heat wave. But Evan, today, it is our Saturday episode. This is the episode where you get to run the red light, and not literally. No, don't need any cops blocking your road off. And this is where I burn rubber at the red light because there are two topics this week that really you and I would say, are a little frustrated with and have some very passionate opinions about. And they're both related to the NFL. And the first one is the value of the Pro Bowl. Let's just get right into it. What do you think about the NFL Pro Bowl? Wake up.
I had to yawn for a minute. What was the question again?
Wake up over there. Wake up. What is?
Well, that was my value of the Pro Bowl. It's a snoozer. It's a scoring fest, as you have the. You told me in pre-show you had the results of the last few Pro Bowls in front of you, and it's a snooze fest, and it makes you want to go to sleep. I probably watched a total in the last 4 Pro Bowls. I probably watched a total of 5 minutes of the last 4 Pro Bowls combined.
I don't know how much time I've watched. This will be me typically on Sunday if I do this at all. Last year I didn't even catch any live action of the Pro Bowl. The ones that I have watched, and I'm probably farther back than you. I was looking back at some of these, and I think the last one I actually watched was in 2006 when the game was 23-17. But normally what I do is, if there's a commercial on something else I'm watching, I may flip the Pro Bowl on just to see how outrageous the score has gotten. Because as you said, I have brought up the results from the past years. Last year, 62-35. 2011, 59-41. 2010, 55-41. 2009, 41-34. In 2008, there was some resemblance of what seemed to be a game at 30-21. But I'm right on board with you, Evan. I don't need to turn on a game and just watch a quarterback throw the ball to a wide receiver and nobody tackle him and he runs and scores a touchdown. Or they hand the ball off and the guy runs untouched and scores a touchdown, because that's all it's become. It is nothing more than even a glorified flag football game. And I'll tell you what, I used to play flag football, and some of those games are more competitive than the Pro Bowl. So I'm at the point now, why do we even have the Pro Bowl? So talking that way, as we move forward, can you give me one reason, Evan, why we should have the Pro Bowl?
How long is the show? We have, 25 minutes left?
About 25 minutes left, bud. I just want one reason why we should have it.
I don't know. To come up with one reason why we should have it, I don't know if I have enough time to think about this in this show. We might have to approach this issue again in a few weeks when I have a long time to think about it and try to come up with one reason. And even then, I don't know if I'd come up with one. To me, there really isn't one. The ratings are dwindling. The rules are stupid. Now it's a week before the Super Bowl, And I remember when they moved it to the site, they had moved it one year to Miami instead of Hawaii, and that just made it even dumber. Because part of the whole experience for the players and even wanting to partake is that it's in Hawaii. Well, there you go. I have my reason. The players get to go to Hawaii for the week, even though it's not like they couldn't afford to do that with their salaries. But the players get to go to Hawaii for the beach. That's pretty much the only reason why there's any positive to it. But there is really no reason to have it, from a fan's perspective.
And I'm right on board with you. There is no reason as a fan that we should have a Pro Bowl. There's no bearing on it right now. To be honest, Evan, it reminds me of me going in my backyard and playing football with my buddies and just playing until somebody scores 100 points because there's no defense. You can't hit the quarterback. And they tried to implement this.
Can't blitz.
Exactly, and you have to run base defense. And so now what they did to try and gain some excitement for the Pro Bowl, because a lot of people feel the way you and I do, Evan. When I look at Twitter, I've not done any actual sponsored research on it, but when I just look randomly at Twitter about Pro Bowl remarks, it seems like the general population thinks like you and I do, that the Pro Bowl at this point has no value to the fans. So what they did this year, let's talk about this for a little bit, because I haven't even talked to you about this. What do you think about the whole fiasco this week? Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders picking sides, like they're back in grade school picking teams for kickball. They went and picked teams for the Pro Bowl. This is an NFL organization, and they're picking sides like kickball. So I think you know how I feel about it, but I want to know how you feel. How did you feel about this week's antics of having a draft for the Pro Bowl? What's your thoughts?
I think it spices up a little bit of drama rather than AFC versus NFC. They're trying to spice up a little bit of drama because, hey, what do people watch? Drama. It's like the car crash on the interstate. Even though it's on the other side of the interstate, it's in the southbound lanes of the interstate, the people going northbound have to drive at 20 miles per hour or less because they have to look over at the accident to see what happens. People love drama. They love those kinds of things, and they were hoping to, to draw in people wanting to watch the drama. Now, it gives it a little more of an interesting twist, but not enough to force me to want to watch it, because now you get to have, Cam Newton throwing to show you how much I've been paying attention. I can't even think of some of the AFC wide receivers. Cam Newton throwing to Andre Johnson. You could have that pairing kind of thing. They're trying to appeal to the fantasy football guys, but I don't know. It didn't do much for me. It was, they're having a draft today. Cool. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I was totally disengaged. I don't know who's on what side, nor do I care. That's my thought. And you and I, I would put you and I as pretty, and I'll use the word diehard football fans. We love NFL football. Yeah, we love our Green Bay Packers, but we are football fans. We love to watch football. We'll watch and we'll look and we'll analyze and we'll critique. Thus, the show that we do. A lot of our stuff relates to the NFL. We're going to have to move on to different topics as the season ends. But for two fans like you and I that love football, for us to sit here and almost make fun of the Pro Bowl, does that not matter to the NFL executives? That people like you and I are the ones probably in the long run that are the health of the NFL fan base. I mean, I know they're going toward the female population, and it's grown dramatically. I had done a report in school about that, and that's great. And they're tailoring jerseys and things to the female population, and they're trying to get the younger generation in. But when I go back, I used to enjoy watching it as a youngster, to watch the guys on my team, the Packers, make the Pro Bowl. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, we weren't that good, so it was always usually just James Lofton in the Pro Bowl. But That's why I watched, just to get a glimpse of my player playing because it seemed to have some value then. But now I could care less. You brought up a great point. It's all about the fantasy players, those that put up huge numbers. Thus, we also look at the scores of the prior years. I mean, 62 points last year, Evan. How often are 62 points scored in a regular season game? Not that often.
Maybe once every couple of years you see it.
But this is becoming a norm. And so this whole fiasco this week just reminded me of grade school when I was standing out in the field at recess, and the captain, and we were all standing there in a line, and they're like, number 1 pick, and you're raising your hand because you want to be picked next. That's what it seemed like. Lobbying to be picked and the trash talking amongst.
Did you see the new clock rules by chance too?
I glanced at them. Anything relating to the Pro Bowl, I can honestly say this. I'm not interested in it. I see it. I click off of it. I don't read into it.
You're talking about, but you're talking about scoring, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
You can finish your story. I'll get to the.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I'll get to the rules. Clock rule. Oh, you're done.
Yeah, tell me the clock rules.
Well, they're gonna all 4 quarters. They're gonna have a 2-minute warning.
Oh, great.
Huh?
That's great. That's just great. Something else.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll tune in to
that
see.
That should also change after each quarter.
Yeah, maybe I'll tune in for a little bit. I don't know. I have probably better things to do.
The final.
Yeah, I have probably better things to do. I don't know. No, I don't know what yet.
Quarter if the offense doesn't gain any.
No, go ahead, bud. I'm just listening to the rules and ranting.
On the final 2 minutes of each quarter, if the offense doesn't gain any yards, the game clock will stop like a dead ball. 35-second or 25-second play clock will be used instead of the normal 40-25. The game clock will start on the referee's signal after an incomplete pass, except inside the last 2 minutes of the first half, the last 5 minutes of the second half. So that's like a regular game. And then the game clock will not stop if the quarterback is sacked. So they're trying to, they're trying to add excitement and points as if 97 points last year weren't enough, is what this article is finishing off with. So they're trying to get even more scoring into the Pro Bowl. So 63 points or 62 points last year wasn't enough. They want 70 to 60 games, I guess. They want NBA-type scores.
Well, that's a totally different topic because even the NBA All-Star game is, 170 to 150? And when does that happen in a regular season game? I understand where they're coming from. I really do. Because being a former soccer player, the reason soccer is not popular in the United States is because there is no scoring. People like offense. They like scoring. They like the excitement. I understand that. But to the and I'm going to use this word, and people can call me again the idiot with an opinion. A real football fan, a real fan, thinks that 62 points is just ridiculous. And now they're going to score, 80 this year? I'm thinking 80 is going to go on the board. I don't like that as a football player. I'm okay watching a 17-14 game and thinking it was probably one of the best games I ever watched in my life. So I like defense. I like a good defensive game. I like a precision offense. This throw the ball and score every time you get the ball, to me, is ridiculous. That's why I don't watch. So enough said by me on the Pro Bowl. You have anything else, bud?
I just hope Roger Goodell lives up to his promise that he said at the statement he made after last year's game, that if it continues to be non-existent and from the fans' perspective, like fans aren't watching, that he just abolishes it. Because ultimately, I think that's what the players want. Just you can vote people into the Pro Bowl, but you don't have to play the game. Have the players get a week paid vacation in Hawaii, because that's ultimately what you're doing anyways. But you don't have to play the game.
No. Hey, I like your idea. Have the voting. These are your Pro Bowl players for 2013. This would be your Pro Bowl team. And then send them all on a nice vacation. Let them play a game of flag football. Honestly, that would probably be more fun. Have a little flag football tournament with all the Pro Bowlers. I think that would be cool. And I'm sure they'd like it too. Because then they're not out there having to get hit all the time. I actually would probably watch that. So I just came up with this idea as you're talking. Vote the Pro Bowl players in, and then pick flag football teams and put a tournament together. And have a flag football tournament. I would actually watch that. I would actually maybe even try to attend something like that. Because at that point, the players are going to be loose. The players are going to be having fun. Do it for charity. Get all, whatever the receipts are, the gate receipts, and give them to an NFL charity. But make it fun. Make it fun for the fans. Because this Pro Bowl to me is not fun. So you brought up a name that is going to lead us into our next point, about halfway into the show. Good job, bud. I'm going to clap. Right on time, 15 minutes. So that was wonderful. But the next point from Roger Goodell, and that's what I'm going to call him because he's trying to change all these rules and play NFL God. This stupidity of getting rid of the extra point. Why is he trying to mess with a game? Why, Evan? The success rate, the article I have up is actually from Around the League, and it's by Mark Sessler. And in there, it says that the success rate is 99.1%. So that means we have to get rid of it because 99% of the time it's automatic anyway. So I'm going to let you take over as to what Roger Goodell is trying to propose to the NFL and what he is envisioning for an extra point. I'll let you take that away, bud.
The commission of the NFL said on NFL Network with Rick Eisen called the extra point the penny of the NFL. And basically, he wants to eliminate the extra point because it's almost automatic. And as you just said, the kickers attempted 1,183 extra points, and they only missed 5. No kicker missed more than 1 extra point in the entire season, and that's a success rate of 99.6. Part of the game nobody missed anyways. Well, the kickers would, and this article I'm looking over talking about the sponsors and networks would, who get usually an extra commercial break between the kickoff. But what he was talking about doing is either when you score a touchdown, give them 7 points anyways. Yay, you got 7 points for scoring a touchdown instead of 6. Yay, we're switching the math up a little bit. But now you have the option of going for a 2-point conversion in that. That if you are successful, you now have 8 points. So basically the 2-point conversion becoming a 1-point conversion, really. But if you fail on the 1-point conversion attempt, I guess I'll call it, you have 6 points. So if you fail, you lose a point. If you are successful, you gain a point. So I'm guessing majority of teams would not be attempting the 1-point conversion due to the fact that they don't want to lose a point. So the other reason I saw why he was doing it, besides just how automatic it is in the interest of safety. He wants to make the game more safe because a lot of injuries happen on extra points. Even though I've been on an extra point team, I played 2 years of college football, played 4 years of high school football, played 3 years of middle school football, and middle school we couldn't attempt extra points, but high school and college, all the games I played, not one person ever got hurt on an extra point. On the extra point, the majority of the time, people just kind of go through the motion. So, I guess I can't kind of say it's a safety factor either. But to me, I just wish Goodell would actually speak the truth on why he wants to do these things, and it's all about revenue. This article I just pulled up from Yahoo Sports is talking about how it's going to affect the networks and the sponsors because they, are going to lose an extra commercial break. Now, I think the NFL would extend commercial breaks in that time frame. I don't think they would lose a commercial break. I think they would get more commercials. And I think that's what Goodell's trying to do. He's trying to bring in more revenue. He's going to try to bring in more revenue. But very interesting, Goodell's not the only commissioner of a football league trying to abolish the extra point. The Canadian Football League is also thinking about doing the same thing.
Do I really have to talk? Do I really have to talk about this? Because I just think it's stupid. There's my analysis. Stupid. Because I didn't play high school football. I played junior high football. And like you in junior high, we didn't kick extra points. We had to go for 2 every time. But with my limited football playing and my age now and my out-of-shape body, I could literally suit up probably on an extra point and probably not get hurt. And, okay, I'm reading the article that Mr. Goodell says, you want to add excitement with every play. Well, I'll tell you what. When the Super Bowl comes up next Sunday, I've been saying this jokingly, and I even tweeted it out to Aaron Mahood on Twitter. I'm not sure if you follow him. He has a radio show in Wisconsin. And I tweeted out, wouldn't it just be wonderful if that there was a missed extra point in the Super Bowl and one of the teams lost 24-23 to see the value of that 1 point?
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that just be great? Or even better yet, they missed the extra point that could have won the game, and then it has to go to overtime, and that team that missed the extra point loses in overtime. That would even be better. Because when I look at it, and at the end of this article, he's in favor of this a long overdue change, and says, like you said, unless you're a kicker. But before that it says, and this is what Mark Sessler says, traditionalists might disagree, but this is a good idea, long overdue. Well, I'm a traditionalist. Keep the extra point. Because the way that you're looking at it, I think it's going to turn into what you said, Evan. For 3 quarters, depending on the score, nobody is going to go and gamble. Maybe one of those crazy coaches. But after it bites them in the ass, they're not going to do it again. And so it's going to go back to me and my buddies playing football in the yard when I was growing up, and when you score the touchdown, you just get 7 points. What's next, Evan? What is he going to do next? Is he going to start saying that a punt or a pass is as good as a punt, like we used to do when we played? Because why is he messing with these little rules? To me, it's stupidity. That's how I feel about it. I started laughing when I saw it, and I keep saying, I hope that there's an extra point missed in the Super Bowl. Now, it would suck for that fan base, and they're probably all going to ridicule me, but it's my point. That 1 point, even though that it's a 99% success rate, it has to be earned. Because there are misses. That is how I feel.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, go ahead.
If I can chime in first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some comment I want to make about Goodell, and here's my thinking. Pete Rozelle has his legacy. He was the guy behind the merger of leagues. He has his legacy. Paul Tagliabue pretty much has a legacy. Roger Goodell wants his legacy. He wants that. When you hear Roger Goodell, he wants that, legacy to him. He wants to be the commissioner that made the game more safe. He wants to be the commissioner that's brought the NFL into the 21st century or whatever. Like, he wants to be that guy. He wants to create his legacy. And that's what he's trying to do. And again, he's sugarcoating, why he's doing it with all these excuses. He should just come out and say what he's trying to do. He wants to create his legacy as the NFL commissioner. Now, one change to the extra point I would not oppose is if they, rather than, kicking it from the 1-yard line, making the extra point like a 25-yard field goal. If you want to add excitement, imagine trying to kick, 25-yard or 30-yard field goal in January 2nd at Lambeau Field when you have extreme Arctic cold temperatures like they had against the 49ers this year. Imagine trying to kick in those conditions.
Yeah, I
That's
like.
going to add a lot more excitement because it's not as automatic anymore.
Yeah, I like that. Move it back. Make it a little more challenging then. Don't make it overly challenging. Make it so the success rate is in the 90%. But yeah, move it back. Don't get rid of it though. I think it needs to be earned. A touchdown is worth 6 points. The extra point is worth 1 point. It's the way it's been. So yes, you want to call me a traditionalist? Call me that. Don't mess with the scoring system.
Abolishing the kickoff is going to be next, probably.
Well, that's what I said. What is next? Pass as good as a punt and just get rid of the punter too? I mean, I understand, and I can understand the kickoff stuff. Messing with the kickoff because there are some major hits on the kickoff. And so you could sell me on that portion for safety. But I laughed when you started talking that Mr. Goodell said it's about safety on an extra point. And everybody will point to Gronkowski getting hurt on the extra point. I mean, but how often does somebody get hurt? Not often. They don't even.
If that's the case, why are you playing your franchise tight end on the damn extra point team? That's what you have the other, that's what you have your third, fourth string tight ends for.
Heck, Marshall Newhouse could be on the extra point team and still do good. Because they don't do anything on the extra point.
He'd screw it up somehow.
But it goes to the point about the rant.
That's too hard on him.
Yeah, we are. The poor fellow, he's just not good. So, but I don't feel bad.
He needs to start used cars in Superior, Wisconsin. Yeah, Superior, Wisconsin. That's what he needs to do.
Well, I'm thinking that we probably won't have to see Mr. Newhouse in a Packer uniform next year. So, another good rant, bud. I mean, I love the Saturday show. You and I just get to rant about stuff and just go off without having to really back our opinions. I mean, we use articles, we do research, but, a lot of our topics on Saturday are just you and I ranting about how we feel about these subjects. And, you and I are on the same page. The Pro Bowl is useless. And the extra point should stay in the game. Don't get rid of it. It's not because of safety. And that's why I gave that joke before, Mr. Roger Goodell. Because he's trying to make these changes, like you said, to find a legacy. But this one right here is stupid. So, I love doing the show with you on Saturday, bud, and it allows us to rant and rave a little bit, but with 2 minutes left, I know we're going to have a special guest on next week, so fill in the Saturday listeners as to our great show on Thursday and give a little background about who we're going to have on the show and what next Thursday's show is going to be about, because I'm excited about it.
That brings you and I both on. Next week, Thursday, we're going to have a gentleman coming on. He's been covering the Senior Bowl all week. The Senior Bowl being where the seniors coming out, who are obviously
90 seconds
are working with NFL coaches all week, scouts, and all of them are down there evaluating. And we're going to have his name is Dan Holt. He's a writer for the Bleacher Report, and he's going to be on there talking about some seniors that had stood out to him this week. We all know who what the Packers need in the upcoming season.
60 seconds.
We'll be talking about it on our recapping the positions and grading them. But he's a featured columnist from the Bleacher Report. He mostly writes about the Bills draft, and he's a member of the Pro Football Writer as well. And he's going to be talking about the players in the Senior Bowl that stood out to him at positions of need for the Packers. So I'm excited to have him on. I've read his stuff on Bleacher Report, and it's always really awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show to be able to actually have some first-hand view of somebody that was down there evaluating these players that were at the Senior Bowl. I'm really excited about it, bud.
10 seconds.
As always, my pleasure to do the show with you on Saturday. We will see all of you at the next red light. Have a safe weekend if you're in the Northeast or in the Midwest because the snow's coming down. We'll get at you soon.